Our next topic is dun, 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 Ironheart. Yay! So, Ironheart officially aired on Disney Plus on June 30th or June 29th, around there. And we are aware of the review bombing that it came across, and we're aware of the unfairness that her character has been placed against on the critic side when it comes to Ironheart. People don't like seeing Black people be super. It's a thing. We understand. Not we understand. We understand that that's the world that we live in, and we know that that's how they feel. That's not how I feel, but that's how they feel. On Rotten Tomato, the show was review bombed, and then they got rid of all the, because people were review bombing it before it even started, which is also crazy. But they do what they do best, and that's being bad. However, Ironheart is, in my opinion, amazing. In my opinion, the best MCU show. It did get 82% on the tomato meter. And some people were saying that it didn't stream really high, but I was reading that it said that Disney doesn't make its streaming numbers known publicly. Really? So then it's like, if Disney doesn't really make their streaming numbers known publicly, right? How can someone say that it didn't do well? That's where I'm like, who's lying? Which one of y'all is lying? Which one's telling the truth and which one's lying? That's what I want to know first. You said it happens all the time with these Marvel TV shows. Happened with Mrs. Marvel too. Well, it happens all the time with certain Marvel TV shows. But let's be clear on that, because I'm sure it was happening with She-Hulk. It happened with this. It happened with Mrs. Marvel. But yeah. Anyways, we have some of the reviews that we can dive in, because to me, Ironheart was amazing. Oh, it was funny. It was emotional. It was fun. It was beautiful. Oh, beautifully done. It was palpable. The emotions, the journey, everything was extremely. And then the ending, girl, the ending. Chef's kiss. Okay. I love the direction they took. Without doing spoilers, I love the direction they took. I love the, even though I don't stand with a certain thing, I'm not going to say what it is. I don't stand with it, but I love that they did it because it's great writing. Great writing. Great writing. Okay. I would have went left where this person went right, but the fact that they went right and that the show took the risk, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay. So we have Dan. Is it INAV? LNAV? Let me know. Ironheart fares better with the human element of the story, though perhaps human isn't the right word. Given that the series, why is human not the right word? Given that the series' most rewarding scenes revolve around Riri's slightly uncanny friendship with Natalie. Okay, because she's AI. That's what you're saying. So apparently Dan's favorite part of it was Natalie, and thinks that the show fares better on the Natalie thing. Okay, all right. A likable series with a cracking lead. Yes. Dominique was amazing. I love an actor or actress who can act without words, without saying words. And her facials were giving everything you needed to know in a scene, for sure. It may not rock your world, but you also won't regret time spent in Riri Williams' company. The "it may not rock your world" part, I'm like, I don't think that was necessary to say. But saying you won't regret your time with her, I'm for it. Okay. I'm for it. We have Randy Myers, who says Ironheart points MCU in an intriguing direction and gives us characters we'd like to see more of in the future. Very true. Especially if you see enough finale. There's a character that I would love to see more. There's a character in the show that I would love to see a lot more of, but he ain't really make it. But, they could bring people back. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Okay. But I definitely love the characters. I think the characters were I think I loved all the characters. I don't think there was a character I hated in Ironheart. Um let's scroll down to Keith Watson, Daily Telegraph. My chest is already hot, but we'll wait. We'll be fair. That's the word. I was like diligent, but fair is the word. It's a heavy load to carry, and despite Dominique Thorne's best efforts to make Ironheart a credible hero as a concept, Ironheart buckles under the strain of trying to cast off Iron Man's past. This comment doesn't really tell me what specifically you had an issue with in regards to the show in order to give it this rating. I feel like, or I don't know if you're like, hey, it's not doing a good job of casting off Iron Man's past, or you don't like that it's casting off Iron Man's past. I guess this isn't really, I see, oh, you're like, it's bad, but the comment itself doesn't really tell me what your specific issue is with it. Dominic Baez. The series wants to be an examination on race, class, and opportunity of the haves and have-nots in a society increasingly divided between the two. But it mostly just comes off as a surface level excuse to justify Riri's less than moral choices. There's a layer here, right? Because I don't agree with this rating, right? But I do agree with the point that she was evasive when she was asked about why she's doing what she's doing. She was very evasive. I don't think it was surface level. I think it's one of those things where if you understand, then you understand. When someone could tell you 1 + 1 = 2, you're like, yeah, 2, and you understand it. You don't need a deeper explanation. So it could be a matter of someone not really feeling like they were put in a state to really understand where she's coming from. And me, I didn't need that. I felt like the show did a really good job of showing the difference in her life and Iron Man's life. I felt like it did a really good job of showing where she comes from, and we know where Iron Man came from, and the millions of dollars that Iron Man came from, and the millions of opportunities that Iron Man had. So I don't agree with it being surface level. I mean, could she have found a different way to do what she's doing? Sure, but would it have been fast? No. And would she have needed something fast? Yeah. So, and I'm not saying, hey, everybody turn to crime. If you want to do things in this life, you got to turn to crime. I'm not saying that. But it is a fact that a lot of people that do turn to crime, it's because of finances. It's a well-known fact. A lot of people that go to jail, a lot of the times it's because of lack of finances and the path that their life took in order to get more finances. So, a show that has its flaws but doesn't deserve to be cast aside. I agree, Liz. It does have flaws. It's not perfect. Actually, what are you talking about? Was there a flaw? Nobody's perfect. But it's darn close, bruh. It is darn close. It is darn close. Okay? It is darn close. Only coming alive in its final episode, false, which should have been its starting point rather than its cliffhanger-y conclusion. I disagree. It's further evidence that the once mighty comic book brand has watered itself down with second-rate heroes and adventures. Nick, you okay? Because I disagree with all of this. First of all, I feel like it came alive in its first episode. And I feel like because of the journey that we took, the last episode hit the way that it did. If they had started with that, I don't think that, like, in order for them to top the cliffhanger, they would have to end on an even higher note. When this was more of a show, the purpose of the show was to build more into this character. She didn't have a clear origin story. She was introduced in a movie. So kind of giving us more time with the character and the world, you know, that's the thing. One thing I will say, and back to the person that mentioned the flaw, or whether it's whether it has flaws. One flaw is I do feel like we didn't get to know enough about Riri to know whether, when she comes to a crossroads, we don't know whether she's going to turn left or right. We know that she should turn left and not right, but we don't know what she would do. And so that's one thing I would say as like a flaw. But the show came alive in the first episode. And it was definitely not watered down. It was not watered down, Nick. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, let's look at some audience. All audience. This show is awesome. The writing and acting is top notch, and the action is so good. Yes, Chris. I'm not going to try to say your name because I'm not going to try to mess that up. All right. The show was great. One of my favorite scenes was from episode 4. I think Riri was running from the truck and her suit busted out the truck and, okay, a little bit of spoiler, and caught her before the truck got her. The suit closing into her. Yes. The pose that she made when the truck stopped and it's flipped. That was a good cinematic moment. Okay, that one was like a bunch of spoilers. Let me scroll down just in case you ain't seen it yet. Okay, let me just scroll down. All right. Mohammed says, I didn't enjoy Ironheart. Okay. The character gets everything too easily. Does she? Everything too easily? I don't think so. Needing an AI, she builds it overnight. Okay. But Iron Man built his. We just didn't see him build his. But he did build the suit very quickly. And he had less resources, or not less resources, because she has less resources. But he was in a pit cave thing and built it. Did you like Iron Man? Because want to make a suit in a cave while you're a victim of a kidnapping? Here's your suit, because that's what Iron Man did. So if you didn't like that one, if you don't like both Iron Man, then okay. Need a suit? Her whole family helps, and it's made from a car. Okay, but Iron Man made a suit, and he made all his suits in his basement, in his house. There's no real struggle or growth, so the character development feels pointless. That's not really true, because I will say with her, she's a multi-layered, and her issues are multi-layered. She had way more emotional issues. We came in with her already having a suit, because the suit making had happened prior to the show, right? If you've seen Wakanda Forever. So I don't agree with everything coming too easily to her. I do feel like pacing, if you could say it happened very quickly, I'll give you that. That's not a issue on the show, that's an issue on the studio. The fact that Disney Plus has been consistently making Marvel shows and their Star Wars properties make shows that are normally on average 9 episodes or less, and normally on average 30-minute episodes. We are in the past couple years getting longer episodes, but a lot of the times, if you have noticed, the shows that get longer episode runtime end up having a shorter episode runtime series-wise, okay? So, and it's weird constraints that Disney has been consistent. It happens on the Star Wars shows. It happens on the Marvel shows. So I can understand pacing is a thing. in this show as it is with all the Marvel shows. However, I'm aware that they're doing what they can with the tools that they're given. And just like the people with WandaVision, just like the people with Loki, just like the people with Miss Marvel, and just like with the people with Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? So I feel like this show itself did an amazing job with the same constraints that some of these other shows that were not as good did, especially pacing. WandaVision, the pacing was like someone spit out a pea into a realm of pillows. It was like, okay, just all over the place. Character development, where? But I digress. Let's read this last one. Cynthia says, complete trash. Gosh. This character had no arc throughout all 6 episodes. Disagree. We're on the emotional arc of this character. And we're on this emotional arc of this character who's dealing with grief, with losing everything and feeling at once at the top and then feeling completely at the bottom. I don't know. Did people watch the same show? This was nothing but a villain origin story? Okay, I disagree. But have you seen Ironheart? Okay. Let me know down below. What are your thoughts on Ironheart? Do you love it? Did you hate it? Did you want to see it? Actually, yeah, but please, fair criticisms, okay? If you're just like, man, I don't like Black people, don't comment, okay? I don't want to hear what you got to say, all right? But if you have fair criticisms, I'd love to discuss that with you, okay? Let me know down below.